Stalker 2 shipped as a complete game, but not as a complete vision. During development, GSC Game World faced multiple internal resets, engine changes, and then the full-scale war in Ukraine. Offices were relocated, infrastructure was lost, and development priorities shifted from expansion to survival. To meet the eventual release window, massive amounts of content were either cut, locked, or postponed. Crucially, GSC later confirmed that much of this content was never abandoned, but delayed and planned for restoration through updates and DLC. What follows is a structured breakdown of that content, reconstructed using in-game data, leaked builds, concept art, art books, and roadmap confirmed recoveries. Weapon-mounted tactical lights are one of the most revealing cuts. These are not placeholder assets, they function correctly in real-time rendering cutscenes, meaning the lighting, attachment system, and weapon integration are already in place. The removal was likely due to visibility balance, stealth mechanics, and performance concerns during the launch optimization rather than to design intent. The PDA originally supported archive logs and stats tracking, including NPC interaction records and environmental data. These features were not deleted entirely. NPCs held PDAs, still display, archive, and tabs in-game, indicating the system was cut late in development. This suggests it was removed to reduce UI complexity and testing overhead, not because it conflicted with gameplay direction. Binoculars are fully classified as usable items in the game data and are actively used by NPCs. The removal aligns closely with the early launch limitations, in which NPC rendering distance was capped at roughly 80 meters. Binoculars would have exposed this limitation immediately, breaking immersion and balance, making them a logical cut for launch stability rather than long-term design. The OKO detector exists as both concept art and a finished model. Its design centers on lens-based artifact visualization rather than traditional signal strength mechanics. This implies it was intended as a high-tier detector, possibly reserved for late-game progression or DLC content. Thermal optics follow a similar pattern. Longut A6 Pro is an icon and can be found mounted in Eugene's shop in Rostock, while the ATN4 HD640 exists only as a detailed concept art. These optics were likely cut to prevent thermal vision from trivializing encounters with mutants and night exploration too early in the game. Unused tobacco items also remain in the files, with NPC cigarette colors differing from any usable player's items, suggesting a deeper survival or moral system was trimmed. The bandit exoskeleton represents one of the most impactful cuts. Its armor would have turned bandits into late-game threats rather than disposable enemies, significantly altering faction balance and difficulty scaling. The Bulldog 6 grenade launcher was a functional weapon in the 2022 build and survived as an icon in late development before being removed entirely. The RPO-44, based on the Degratov light machine gun, was even more complete. It appeared physically in multiple shops and functioned fully in elite builds. In Update 1.3, every trace of it was removed and renamed internally, strongly implying future reuse rather than abandonment. The Leica shotgun was designed as an anti-tank giant weapon created by modifying heavy hunting firearm to fire only rifled slug rounds. It exists fully in-game, accepts ammunition, and behaves normally, yet cannot be obtained through legitimate gameplay and can only be spawned via console commands. The GP37 underbarrel grenade launcher survives only through language files' internal references. Its design suggests compatibility with NATO grenades and the G36 platform. Its absence fits a broader pattern where underbarrel explosives and heavy crowd control tools were systematically removed to slow combat escalation. Parts recovered from the Beaver mutant nest were originally intended to upgrade the Gauss rifle into an even more powerful speaker configuration, was likely deemed too strong and removed before release. During development, 59 subquests were removed, all traceable through dummy quest IDs. These were not unfinished fragments, but structured quest lines removed wholesale, indicating large narrative branches were trimmed to stabilize the core story. 2 factions were cut. Flame emerged as a splinter group opposing Freedom's transformation into a trade-focused faction. The base, ranger station, shops, accommodation were fully built before removal. Law opposed duties dependent on external authority and surveillance, with its base planned inside underground research facilities, tying it directly into the X-Lab network. Both factions felt complete and structural, suited for DLC-driven faction conflicts rather than launch inclusion. Many planned mutants were reduced to concept art or external media. The cadaver stands as the most developed cut mutation created through Project X experiments to engineer a perfect soldier. It features a mass mouth, embedded mechanical control systems, and is the only mutant with a fully official explanation in the art book. Despite being newly added to the internal bestiaries, it quickly became part of campfire horror stories. The beaver mutant was designed as a territorial, semi-neutral creature that built nests from scavenging debris. Its nest contained quest-critical Gauss rifle components. It was cut due to the overpopulation of rodent-type enemies. The Islam, conceived since the original trilogy, was a massive humanoid mutant that hurled debris or wielded improvised weapons. It now exists only in the official board game. The Mite was a human torso-sized tick-like predator, emphasizing ambush and psychological horror. The Filnet, the Dust Monster, was created through artifact research accidents and later stabilized in the laboratory conditions. Its structure could be destabilized by explosives, causing instant collapse. The Mizukalom, the Brain Destroyer, featured extreme psionic abilities, inducing hallucinations, camera distortion, and mental damage that could rotate the player's view up to 180 degrees. Additional concepts included fake giant variants, Siamese-controlled twins, spectra entities projected from the noosphere, and region-based mutant subspecies with altered behaviors and appearances. Most of these systems were reduced to minor cosmetic differences at launch. Limansk exists physically, but it's inaccessible. The bridge has collapsed, radiation kills the player upon crossing, and nearby walkie-talkie receives distorted signals and screams from within the city. Visual confirmation of the yellow-painted buildings reinforces that the region is modeled rather than imagined. Cold Island was planned as a massive northeastern region, largely aquatic, and intended as the primary location for X6 labs. Sand Plateau content was moved into Pripyat's underground late in development. Several unregistered areas exist with full terrain models, but lethal radiation barriers and no map labels, strongly suggesting future expansion zones. The Chornobyl nuclear power plant was built at full real-world scale and cut from launch despite its overwhelming presence. The Iron Forest substation was expanded to a near one-to-one scale and appears positioned for joint inclusion with the power plant in future content. 17 X-Series research institutes existed during development. Roughly half survived into the final build, some in altered form. X-18 lost its lower levels despite being complete in elite builds. X-16 was nearly finished and tied to a cancelled quest. X-0, also called the Embryonic Storage Facility, was abandoned but may reappear under a new designation. X6 was moved from Zaton to Cold Island and appears designed as the centerpiece of a second-story DLC. X12 focused on cognitive research and still leaves physical traces in the game world. X13, X10, and X8 were removed entirely at various stages. X19 was planned as a monolith control center near the nuclear power plant, replacing early story logic involving biometric devices. Mutant looting, a classic trilogy feature, was cut at launch but fully restored in Update 1.5. The system was rebuilt with redesigned body part logic and new crafting implications. Master difficulty and exploration mode was added in Update 1.7, introducing limited saves, harsher economies, and permanent consequences. If even a portion of what we have covered returns through DLC or free updates, Stalker 2 could evolve into the most complete interpretation of the zone ever created. As soon as we get more information on the DLC reveal, we're one of the first to drop a video, so make sure to subscribe. If you missed last week's video, it's on screen now.